Recorded live at the Depends for Men Undergarment Studios in Orange County, California. It's the Indispensable Thursday Show with Sable and Dave. Mediocrity never goes out of style.
Wait, we'll get sued, man. You gotta change that up a little bit.
Is that how you do it? You do the slightly different notes?
Perfect.
Well, that was Disney music because I went to Disneyland. Yes.
Yeah, right? You got to meet Peyton Manning, right?
No, I went the day after Peyton Manning went to Disneyland. Thank God. I don't think it would have been much more crowded, though, because, it was still a Monday. He was smart to go on a Monday. Mm-hmm. I went on a Tuesday. Which, if you're a native of California, never ever set foot in Disneyland on a Saturday or a Sunday.
Correct. Wait
till after the Christmas stuff is over and the New Year's, coming in January, February, March, up through May. Go during the week. You'll have a good day. If it's raining, go that day.
That's the good day.
That's a good day to go, but that's a crapshoot. Hardly ever rains here. So,
did you see the new Star Wars stuff?
I didn't.
Did you go on Space Mountain?
I did not. What's weird? I woke up that morning. I was very excited. My daughter was 5th birthday. One of my daughters. She's turning 5, so we took her to Disneyland. I've never been with them. They've been when they were littler, so they don't really remember it too well. So I took my 2 girls and the wife. $400 to get in.
Oh, so you don't have a pass?
No, we just went. We're just going for the day. We're not going to do the pass crap, and we only want to go to the one park. We don't want the park hopper.
So it was $99 per person.
$99.93, yeah,
including the 5-year-old.
Yeah,
okay,
even her. She had a great time. But anyway, what was I getting? What was I talking about?
You said $400 to get in the door.
Get in the door.
It doesn't count parking or food.
Yeah, parking's $18. So yeah, if it rains, you should go. Well, anyway, so. $18 to park. The parking structure. When I was a kid, you used to go. You park in the gigantic parking lot. You walk up to the kiosk and you buy your book of A, B, C, D, and E tickets. And the E tickets were the good rides, like the Matterhorn, the Autopia cars.
And you were a kid with E tickets.
Yes, I remember the E tickets. And you just you buy your things. You go in. They let you in at 9 a.m. and they'd rope off. Everybody would pile up in Main Street. At 9 o'clock, they'd let the rope off, and we all go running in.
Wait, Dave, my grandpa used to tell me about the A through E tickets. How can you be as old as my grandpa was?
Me and your grandpa used to reuse our rubbers too. Those big thick rubbers. We used to hang them over the.
When I was a kid and would go, there was just a ticket. That was it.
Even when you were a kid, it was just a passport. That came in when I was a little older, like maybe 10, 12. But when I was a little kid, like 6, 8, through 10.
So you and my grandpa, wow.
Me and your grandpa could bond over that. Yeah.
Man, I've got more white hair than you do, Dave. How can you be so much older?
Yeah. It's an ancient Chinese secret. Trigger warning. Sorry, Chinese folks. So anyway, that parking structure, by the way, the new one they built, could probably house. I would think probably every single car in Belgium could be parked in that thing because that's a small country. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Very well organized. You go in there, and you have. I think I was going to say, anyways. You used to walk up to the kiosk and you get your A, B, C, D, and E tickets, and you go in. But now you have to park kind of far away, and you have to ride the tram into the downtown Disney, and then walk a little further to where you buy your tickets.
You're definitely going to put in at least a mile of walking before you get to stand in line to buy your tickets.
Yeah,
if you didn't buy them online already.
Yeah. So we got hosed on the ticket price, of course, But on the way over there, it was funny because they have 2 parks now. I don't care about the California Adventure Park. It's okay.
Really? I like it much better. Well, I haven't been since the new Star Wars stuff, but I really liked California
Where's the Star
Adventure.
Wars stuff? Because I only saw some of the stuff in Tomorrowland. They have Star Wars out a little bit.
Well, they have Star Tours that they've updated.
That's what I was going to say. I couldn't go on that because I woke up I felt like dizzy. I think I told you, I slacked you in the morning. I woke up feeling kind of queasy and like dizzy. I stood up and I felt dizzy. I'm like, what the fuck is this 48-year-old problem I have? I can't go on Space Mountain. And I felt shitty like kind of all day. It wasn't until later in the day. I'm like, I'm not going to go on Space Mountain because they're going to carry me off the thing.
Right.
So I couldn't go on those. But I went on my classics like the Haunted Mansion and the Pirates of the Caribbean is my absolute favorite. My good daughters loved it. But anyway.
I always loved Pirates as a kid. Oh, yeah. I would sing, yo ho, pirates. I would sing that as a kid, right?
We pillage, we plunder, we rifle and loot. Drink up, me hearties, yo ho.
Right. As awesome. The men would be chasing the women around, pinching their butts. I always thought that was great. But we'd go, and it would be 90 or 100 degrees outside, and you'd get into the Pirates, and it was always a nice, cool 70
Wonderful,
degrees.
and
Yeah.
you're floating on the boat in there, and now
And
they
it's a
don't have
long ride.
the pirates don't chase the women around now. The women chase the pirates now.
Oh, that's better.
They yeah
Teach
but
women to do more chasing.
they had a kerfuffle with that because they, eventually the feminist groups got on them. Hey, obviously yes, they're chasing them so they could rape them, but not in that ride. They're just chasing them because they want to get them or whatever. When I was a kid, it's like, yeah, I want to get her, whatever that means. So they were chasing them around. Actually, there's one where the fat chick is chasing the pirate around. That's like the third. You know how jokes go in threes. First, you see one where the pirate chasing the girl, pirate chasing the girl, fat chick chasing the pirate.
Yeah.
Ha ha ha. And then they say, okay, we'll soften this up by putting he'll be holding a cake. That's why she's chasing him around because she's a fat chick.
She's a fat chick.
She's chasing him. He's got a
that's
cake.
like
That didn't go over well with
slap in
the
the face.
The fattest got angry at that. The waitists, whatever they called. And now all the pirates are being chased, but they're like holding like they got caught in the middle of stealing stuff. Like they got their silverware and their stuff, so that's why they're being chased now. They kind of ruined all that stuff. But
wow, I wonder when
Anyway.
I wonder when they did that.
it was not too long ago, but in the last 10, 15 years. And they put Jack Sparrow in there, but he doesn't interrupt. He's just kind of added in a couple spots. So they didn't ruin it by putting all the movie stuff in there. But anyway, so we're riding California Adventure Park is the other park, which is cool, but I much prefer the original place. So I didn't care. I'm like, we're just going to the original park.
Did you see the World of Colors?
Is that the California Adventure?
It's sort of out in the. I think you have to be in the California Adventure to see it. But
Yeah, I don't.
every
no,
time
I
I've
didn't go
ever
in
been
there.
to Disneyland, there was always you had to be an hour or two ahead of time to see the fountain. It was like I can go to Vegas and see a fountain every 15 minutes. I don't need to.
But the first thing was we're on the tram, and they're like, the speakers come on. They all sound like Phil Hartman to me, the narrators or whatever. But he's like, for your entertainment, the California Adventure Park will be closing at 8 p.m. tonight. And I'm like,
For your entertainment.
yeah, I'm like, what? That's an hour sooner than the park that I'm going to. Why is that for my entertainment? That's bizarre. Like, you'd think they would say, we're sorry, but the other park is closing in an hour earlier, so get over there. No, it's for your entertainment. Like, what? It's like the fun size candies at Halloween, like the Snicker bars that are small. It's fun size. You're like,
And now I need
great.
3. Thanks.
Fun size. Yeah, my penis is fun size, girls. Enjoy. But so that was funny. I'm like driving. I was like, okay, well, that was nice.
Well, now speaking of the voices, all the voices sound the same because a lot of the voices are still left over from the 60s and 70s when they had in-house people working.
Paul Frees.
And we happen to know
Not the Paul Frees that I know, by the way. I know a guy named Paul Frees, but it's a different Paul Frees.
We
who's
know
already
one
dead.
of the voice actors.
Oh, yeah?
Through the Temple
Yeah.
that did probably 100 things that you heard.
How old is this person?
Very.
Oh, I gotta talk
And
to
retired.
Gotta talk to this person. You gotta introduce me if
Yeah,
I don't know him already.
Well, I don't have permission to say his name on the air, but
Yeah.
I will point him out. He's not.
I want to ask him if he knew Paul Frees, because Paul Frees was like he was in Hollywood movies a lot. Like a lot of the movies from the 50s and 60s, you see, whenever there's a dubbed voice, and it sounds like this. I do a terrible Paul Frees. That's a little better, but he's the Haunted Mansion guy. No windows and no doors. That guy.
Yeah.
And he does a lot of the pirate voices. He was great. So this guy does a lot of those too. That's awesome. Got to talk to that guy.
We will.
Should get him on the show.
Oh, I wonder.
I wonder.
He'd probably laugh at this.
I'd tone it down a little
rate.
bit for.
He'd say, "That's not a microphone. Back in my day,
In my day, we used the." That's terrible.
My day,
I don't
we had
want
a
to.
sound
I'm not
booth.
gonna even pursue that line until we get him on the show. What else
right.
did I want to say about that? Because no, they're Disney. When you go to the Disney parks, they do. I mean, everything is like. The detail, the attention to detail is fantastic on those parks. Even the little cars that you ride in on, like the little cheesy Snow White rides and stuff.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
looking at the cars, they're beautifully, like ornately carved. There's no graffiti on them. If people put graffiti on there, they're thrown out of the park, or they switch the car out.
Yep.
They fix that stuff. And if you go to Six Flags and you see Bugs Bunny, you can usually, if you look down at his feet, you see like the foot is really just a flap covering his Skechers. You're like, oh. But there was a Jedi show at the Tomorrowland Theater, and like those are goddamn Jedi boots on that
Right.
Jedi. Like, everything is like, this looks great, and it's the sound is always great. Like you're going in one room and these little rides, kiddie rides, even you hear the music, But as soon as you leave that room, you go in the next room, that's all you hear is what you're supposed to hear in that room. They know what they're doing with the sound design and the lighting. It's so beautiful. It's awesome. So that place is just, there's nothing better than that place, you know?
A former student of mine graduated from where I teach, went up to Santa Clara, went to college there where some of the Pixar Disney guys went to, and now she is an Imagineer. And
she must be stoked to get up every morning and go to work.
She's doing sound, and I had a chance to meet up with her at the NAMM show, and she was telling me the kind of detail they go into for the sound. And,
get her on the show.
And apparently there was, at one point, there was only one place in Disneyland where you could stand in just the right way and hear the sound from two areas. And they couldn't find a way around it. But they go around the park making sure that when you go into one area, you don't have anything from the other area. Nothing exists.
Cool. And I've heard too that their security is good there too. Like if your kid runs off, they make sure that they find your kid before some bad guy finds them, because there's people just wandering around they look like they're park goers, but they're not. They're just watching people's kids and making sure everybody's cool. I love that. They're awesome. It's such a good day when you go there.
I did learn a little special trick.
They do rape you on the price though, like really bad. And plus there's stuff like the whole Pirates Cove Island, Tom Sawyer's Island, closed.
That's too bad.
Did they charge me the full price? Fuck yeah, they did.
My favorite thing as a kid was spending a couple hours in Tom Sawyer's Island. So here's a little trick I learned that weekend at the NAMM show. Because you can walk from the convention center to Disney. You can go through downtown Disney. You can walk by the hotel. And there's a bunch of restaurants just outside the park. You don't need to go in the park to get to some of the nice restaurants. And they always have long lines. And they're always pretty expensive. But there's one, and I think it's called the Tiki Room, which, by the way, the detail in the restaurant is unbelievable. Every little thing is just, it's immaculate. But there's a little outdoor barbecue area. There's a fire pit and some benches and
just
places
in the park.
to sit.
You're talking about in the park?
No, it's outside the park.
Yeah, okay.
Because I was not in the park. But you can walk in and go sit by the fire pit instead of waiting in the long line to go into the restaurant. And they will come out and serve you your big giant burger and bring you drinks.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's what a great trick, man.
And they have a bar, a tiki bar there called Trader Sam's. It's super bitchin'. Like it's like Indiana Jones themed and stuff. They have like they'll have like Indiana's hat and whip and a gun in there, and they'll have letters from like Belloc.
That's the one
stuff.
in the park, right?
It's in the hotel.
It's at the
Disneyland Hotel. You can just go there, park, and go have a drink. They have pretty good,
this must have been
drinks.
where I went then.
And they'll have there's one window where it looks like you're looking outside, and then a storm will come. It's great. It's so awesome. Love that place.
I think Trader Sam's was it.
Good tiki. Yeah. Okay. That must be it. Yeah.
That's what I was thinking of, the tiki bar. But I didn't go inside the place because we discovered instead of waiting 2 hours to go in, we just sat down by the fire pit. Got served right away.
That's cool.
There were people standing in line that I could see. That by the time I was eating my burger, they had moved up to the stairs and they were about ready to go in.
So there's a bunch of Democrats and they already raised your taxes by the time they got into. That's how you waited long enough for them to raise your taxes.
We already voted Sanders in. He's already made socialism active. By the time I finished my burger, health care for everybody. Nobody has a reason to work anymore.
Good. Yeah. Oh,
there you go.
That's awesome.
When does my stipend come?
Get while the getting's good.
Come on,
peeps.
Bernie, sign me up. So Disneyland, man, I have a love.
Bradley Bear said nothing like getting into a pirate.
That's right. I have a love and a hate relationship with Disneyland. My wife loves Disneyland more than...
it is $99 for an adult to get in the door. Unless you buy a 2-day pass, then it's like $150 for 2 days.
But my wife loves Disneyland more than I would have imagined. And so when we had passes one year, I thought, this is great. This is something she deserves because she loves it even more than the kids do. And I have lots of friends that way, mostly single friends with jobs that will go buy their $600 pass every year. And that's one of the things they do. They go a couple times a month or whenever it's convenient. But with kids, they took away the cheapest, the $300 what was it called? Southern California Pass or something?
Yeah, the SoCal Resident.
Right.
Pass. They brought that back, but I don't know about that version of it that you're talking about.
Well, they had one that was about $300. And so between family and holidays and asking for money and putting stuff away, and we sold some bonds, we were able to raise up the $15 $1,500 to get Disneyland passes 1 year
for all 5 of you.
And now the cheapest one was going to be $2,000.
It's easier to get bolt cutters and just cut your way in the back. There's got to be a back road there. Get some coyotes to sneak you in.
$2,000, Dave.
Yeah.
Do you know how much it costs to fly to Europe?
$2,000
less.
Yeah, if you go on Johnny Jet, you could probably find a deal to fly you to
you can fly to
Japan
Italy,
Disney, and then spend $4,000 again in the park there. But
you could fly to Italy and stay in a nice Airbnb for a week in Rome, and go out to eat every night for $2,000.
That's better. Actually, if you're weighing, by the way, listeners, if you're weighing those two options, I would recommend going to Italy.
Go to Italy
instead of spending on
unless you've been to Italy a bunch.
Bitching as Disneyland is, go to Italy. Yeah. So there you go.
So I struggle with it, and even though I have several friends that work in the parks now, work for Disney, I've always known somebody. It's hard. It's hard for them to get. They're allowed to bring in their family.
Mm-hmm.
They're 1 or 2 people, or their friends. One time, a friend of mine got 3 of us in when I had 1 kid. But having somebody bring 5 of us in, that doesn't happen.
They must have a rigorous screening process over there because I bet you they sit you down. It's kind of like trying to fly on El Al. Like they go, okay, so who do you want to sign in this weekend, sir? And then they sit down, they look through the dossier that you've given them on each person, and they'll be like, so how often do you see this Mr. Simpson? Does it like that, like a grilling?
Exactly.
It's like, oh, man, forget it. But I'm thinking just trying to get a part-time job there just so I can sign my own kids in. Well, they loved it, man. They really, the kid, I had so much more fun just staring at them. I loved it. It was great.
Well, I have a plan.
Staring at them as they were enjoying themselves. I don't just stare at children in the park. That would be weird. But, watching my kids enjoy stuff is really, my older daughter wanted to go on Haunted Mansion 3 times in a row, and I took it. That's awesome. Yeah, that's great.
That's awesome. I have a plan, a long-term plan involving Disneyland I haven't told anyone about yet. Ooh. Do you want to be the first one to know about this plan of mine?
Are you going to have to kill me afterwards? Or
No, I get to... No, I don't have to kill any of the listeners. Nobody on alphageekradio.com has to die.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, so in my long-term plan, I'm in the middle of possibly changing careers from teaching part-time at the college to full-time. Mm-hmm. If I can get myself into a full-time position... I did not know you only
taught part-time there.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, part-time.
All right.
I have too many jobs right now. But if I can get full-time...
You have full-time employment, just not
at another college.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then part-time at a college. Gotcha. And then the podcast, I'm considering a part-time job. And the nonprofit I work with is a part-time job. Anyways, so I get the full-time teaching job as my main job. And then I'm going to have summers off. Now, in my planning, in my process of how I would like the future to look like, one of the bands that I'm in, or I will join a Disney band, will play at Disney for a couple months over the summer.
Ooh.
And I will be able to get the kids in.
That's pretty good.
That's my plan.
I like that. It's pretty devious.
So cool. it might take until next summer to make it happen.
Do you have room for like a triangle player where I just play the triangle? Ding, ding.
I think you and I maybe could get on one of their writing teams if we pitch a show or something to them.
What kind of show?
Disney, they put on all these different kind of shows. They have jokes. They have little comedy things.
I'm pretty sure they won't like anything I would write for them.
And all that stuff is scripted.
Okay.
But the whole time you write, like, I'm going to get in. I need to get into Disney. I need to get my kids into Disney. It doesn't matter how much they're paying me. It's going to save me $400.
Sounds like the plot to a shitty comedy. I should write it. Speaking of that, I should give an update on my movie. Podcast.
Oh, yes, please.
Are we done talking Disney?
Oh, sure.
We spent the first half of the show.
Man, we could probably talk Disney the whole show, every show.
Now, I had an update from my writing partner. I think I've touched on a few morsels of what's going on with me with the big screenplay sale that we're trying to do.
For my Hawaii friend, can you recap what's happening?
Screenplay that I wrote with a fella named Lawrence Riggins. I don't want to get too detailed on it. Screenplay a few years old.
So Dave's a screenwriter, everybody.
Sometimes, yeah. I co-wrote Replicant with him, and I co-wrote one called Assassin's Code, with him, and he directed it also. We've got this one.
Nice lip smack.
Thanks. Pretty big. This would be a pretty big budget. They're looking at a $60 million budget. We're actually at the last stage. a lot of times when you're writing screenplays, sometimes you'll get a low-level producer goes, make these changes, and I'll kick it upstairs. Okay, so you make some changes, then they kick it upstairs, and the next guy goes, it's great, make these changes, and I'll kick it upstairs. We're at the top of the stairs right now, finally, and I believe it's Universal.
And what does that feel like when you're at the top of the stairs?
Feels like nothing at all because it's probably not going to happen.
Oh, but when you laugh, what's your top of the stairs laugh?
Ha ha ha!
I like that one. How about this one?
I would not do that. Maybe in a meeting, at the end of the meeting, not at the beginning.
All right.
What the hell was that? That was you. So we're at the stage where they're going to say, give us a few tweaks on this, and then if this last guy, they're going to basically hand it to the last guy who already kind of knows about it, but they want us to tweak a few things, budgetary things to consider. And if this guy likes it, it's a green light. So this is good. If the guy doesn't like it, then we'll take it around somewhere else. We'll start over at the bottom of the stairs, some other place. But we're at the top of the stairs here. If this guy likes it, he's a green light guy. So this is good. We get a deal memo today too, which I haven't seen yet.
Oh, a deal memo. That seems like.
But at least it's something that they write down. Hey, we're working with these guys, and this is what we're gonna. I haven't seen it yet, but I don't know what's on it.
I think,
at least it's something they bothered to write down and put their names on. So that's okay.
My friend Carly, she went to college and she's working her whole career to get to this point where she could possibly have a green light.
Yeah.
So
I was talking to her at one point. You know what's funny about this? I spoke to her about collaborating on a project with me. Luckily, we didn't go any further because it's the latest movie that Spike Lee just made through Amazon. It's the Chirac.
Really?
You know what Chirac is? That is,
no, I don't know.
It's a modern updated version of Lysistrata, which is the Greek play by Aristophanes, where all the women of Athens get together and they go on a sex strike until the men stop fighting and warring.
Oh, you mentioned this to me a while ago.
Yeah, I was talking to her about it. We should do this, but luckily we didn't because Spike Lee was already doing it.
Right.
So it already came out. And I did see Chirac, and it was kind of uneven and weird, but overall, I kind of liked it.
Do you think
give him props for trying? He kept in a lot of the rhyming conventions that the Greeks did back in the day. There's a lot of rhyming. Mm-hmm. He kept in some chorus, which is singing in between. There's a narrator type of a chorus person, which is kind of funny. It's actually Samuel L. Jackson, but he's playing Rudy Ray Moore, who was the Dolomite in the old horribly shitty but super entertaining Dolomite movies, and like Human Tornado, Dolomite, Monkey Hustle, and Avenging Disco Godfather. And he actually played, his name is Dolomides. So that part was pretty fun, but it's kind of funny because the movie's I'll be quick, but the movie's just packed full of leftist stuff.
Why'd you say that, Dave?
Because I want to keep going on to my other stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I didn't know I was going to talk about Chirac, so I wanted to.
I didn't think I was giving you a look or anything.
No, I didn't. This was like an extra thing.
I have some notes here, but we don't have to get into Better Call Saul or Neil Stephenson or.
We talked about Neil Stephenson briefly. I started reading. Was it Necronomicon? No, Cryptonomicon.
Cryptonomicon. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
But the Chirac. So I got to give props to Spike Lee for trying because it's a difficult, weird thing to try. So that was cool that he even bothered to make it
artsy.
Yeah, kind of artsy, but kind of slick. It's got the Spike Lee, a little bit the Spike Lee flavor. A lot of cussing, not for kids. A little sex. A lot of motherfuckers get dropped in there. Mostly black folks acting in there. John Cusack, very strange role, strange casting as a like a sort of a the hood preacher, like a priest. He's champion of the black guy, but jam packed with a lot of leftist stuff. Spike Lee's a huge racist leftist, and he's he hates Whitey and he hates guns. Of course, guns are the problem. But anyway, I thought it was funny that
I want to pause there. If you have anything to say about Spike Lee, or you want to share your opinions on Chirac or how Spike Lee is, what did you call him? A racist?
Racist leftist. Okay. He hates Whitey.
Give us a phone call at
657-206-0777.
Now, last week when I played the number, there was an awkward silence.
Yeah.
Because I forgot to turn on the audio hijack.
Nice one, Dick.
And so we're just like, and call us at...
No, we just recreated it then.
So here it is once again. Give us a call.
657-206-0777.
Let us know what you think about...
Yeah, be the first caller.
The racist...
Ever.
No, we had a first caller already.
Yeah, right. The guy who says the number, Jesse. He was the only one who ever called us. And I called it to test it once. Hey, it's me.
See, the number has been
two
used.
callers. Please, somebody call. Growly Bear,
Okay.
just leave us a voicemail. Anyway, one final thing about Chirac.
Please.
All the leftist stuff. It's funny that it's not mentioned in the movie that the only thing that actually works, because they have the young kids are dying from stray bullets, and the young men are dying, or whatever. It's never mentioned or acknowledged that the only thing that works is a non-governmental free market solution that provides the proper incentive. So fuck you, Spike Lee.
Nice. Wow. And on that note, I'd like to mention that for this Valentine's Day, in the United States, anyways, for our U.S. listeners, we celebrate the holiday Valentine's Day. And I noticed that your favorite Amazon Fire tablet was on sale for $39. So,
I like that tablet. I use 2 of them regularly. My daughters dig them. It's a good piece of machinery for $39, especially if you're a Prime member.
Right. So $39. Go to theindispensable.show.com, click on the Amazon link, and buy a couple of those $39 Kindle Fire tablets.
Yeah.
Now, I'm curious about the Kindle Fire tablet, if it has the Amazon Echo remote feature. Because I've heard that if you had a Kindle Fire tablet, you can give your Echo a command, and you can say, there's a particular command called Simon Says. So if the kids are in the room by the Amazon Echo, and you're in the other room with the Kindle, you could say, Alexa, Simon Says, go clean up your room, kids. And then she'll out of the blue say, go clean up your room, kids.
Oh.
And the kids will think it's haunted.
Spooky. There's the Amazon, they have the stick that has a remote that has, it's hooked up to Alexa too. You can actually say, Alexa, play Chirac, and it'll play Chirac for you.
I think you have to push the button on that.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, push the
Fire
button and you
stick.
talk into the remote, and then it'll tell the Fire Stick. That's only $39. I'm thinking of getting that actually because it's got Sling TV on it. And remember, my Roku does not play nicely with my Sling TV. So when the NBA playoffs come up, I'm gonna switch over to the Kindle Fire Stick, so I can use Sling on there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Boy, when the Fire Stick launched, I still had a Prime membership, and it came out for $19.99. You could buy this, and I was looking at it like, why on earth would I want this thing? What good is it? Even for $20, I was like, come on, I don't need this.
Yeah. Well,
I should have bought it and just saved it for you.
Yeah. But that's first gen probably. This is probably a newer one, $39. I don't know. But I'm going to try it out. I'll try Sling on it.
Well, it's
Watch
something
my NBA
Amazon
playoffs.
does. They put it out for a 50% discount first. Like the Echo, I had a chance to buy it for $99 when it first was launched. Nobody knew anything about it.
Yeah.
Now I finally get one for my birthday. I think it was on sale for $149, which I didn't pay. It was a gift, which is wonderful. But then I saw the Super Bowl commercial at our little sports ball thing this weekend.
That looked pretty funny. I didn't see the whole thing. I was talking to somebody at the time, but it looked like a funny commercial.
It was like
Alec Baldwin and
it was a silly, funny commercial. Okay. But now, if you go to Amazon, they're $179, which also, by the way, would make a great Valentine's Day present for somebody,
especially if you buy it through our link. Boy, that'd be nice.
Yeah, I wish it gave you more of a discount.
You need an Amazon Echo?
I don't know if it works outside of the United States.
Poor Growly Bear. We pick on him.
Oh, well, speaking of picking on people, our longtime devoted listener, Edgar, is kind of sick and in the hospital.
Yes. We have a very sick friend, actually. He's not listening right now, is he? I hope he's not. I hope he's just getting better, but he's in the hospital, and this is bad.
I think he's in the hospital recuperating today. Okay. Right now as we speak.
Right. The
last I heard was that he was on the mend, but it was pretty serious this last week.
Yeah, it sounded like he was not having a good time this last week. So
he was so bad, I don't think I could have gone to visit him. Which is, I mean, after the heart thing,
I'm going to try to make contact and see if I could cheer him up at all, like by bringing over some like funny movies or something. I'll sit with him. Seriously, I'm gonna check with him on that. See if he's up for like sitting on the couch at night and watching them like The Apple or something. Oh, which I don't know if he could laugh because he was the laughing might cause him pain. But
I don't actually know exactly what the problem is. But we'll talk about that off pod.
Yeah, we'll talk about that off pod. I'll fill you in.
And not a Dollamore off pod, but an actual off pod.
Yes.
Oh, can I
You
throw
said
a program?
Dollamore off pod. It's really a Dave off pod because I'm the one that made the faux pas.
Oh, I messed that up. Hey, can I throw in a programmatic note?
Yes. Growly Bear's asking if Amazon can send perfume overseas.
Perfume is poison.
No
man.
idea.
I don't know.
That's right. He's in Singapore, right? Yeah.
Programmatic note here, guys. Next week, we're going to have Perry Goldstein join us again. And there's a chance that we're going to set up the $2,000 multi-camera video system.
The $2,000. Could we just put a sign up that says the $2,000?
Well, no, that's the dealer cost. But
what's the retail on that?
Probably double that.
Ooh, yeah.
But we're going to try and see. The company he works for has a really nice 4-camera switcher, and he's got some nice cameras. We're going to try and get it set up on Tuesday with the streamer to go out to the YouTube with the HD camera, and then he and I can do some music beforehand, like over there with a separate camera, and then put the other cameras over here, and we can just push the button to switch. We're putting a very similar system in to the studio at Golden West College. So when we have a band or we have somebody in, I can just push the button, start streaming live to the college YouTube channel, switch to the cameras in the studio, or switch to the camera over the mixing board. It's going to be great.
Well, that sounds delightful.
So that's next week. What's the date next week? Is that the 17th?
I don't know. I don't have Google Calendar open up.
I think it's the 17th. And then the following week, so 2 weeks from tonight, we're going to have Gordon Miller from Cinema Centuries. Sorry, I had to look. Gordon Miller from CinemaCenturies.com, also a repeat guest. And we're going to have our Oscar Mayer Wiener special.
Okay. We'll have some maybe predictions from Gordon because he's seen all the movies. We'll pick his brain about some of the. I think he's seen them all now, or most of them. He was going to try by the time he gets in.
The last tweet from him was that he had the last two he had to see.
Okay,
he was going to watch.
He'll do it. Right on. I'm going to try to catch a couple more as well before that, so that'll be good.
I've been a little swamped. I haven't made it onto popcorntime-online.com yet.
Do you have enough time to talk about rape?
Oh man, what's better than talking about rape?
Remember I'll set this up because we did have a show early last year called When is Rape Okay?
And I said never.
And you said never, but
never.
I kind of got you to admit that maybe sometimes it wouldn't be so horrible.
I don't think so.
No, you didn't?
I'm pretty sure I said even the people that I don't like in prison,
don't tip it off. Let's talk to these
I said even if I'm cheering because there's a lot of jokes about men being raped in prison, and when the bad guy gets raped, you're like, that guy's going to get what's coming to him. Even those guys, like I think I would rather have them be shivved and killed than raped.
It's a very weird position. But anyway, let's talk about the why we brought this up, though.
Yeah, but then you brought up this guy.
What's his name?
Roosh V.
Dariush Valizadeh.
He just goes by Roosh because white people can't say that name.
He's got a pro-rape group that I don't know, it's like a bunch of guys who think rape is, A-okay.
Well, let's summarize a little bit.
You do that because I didn't really read the rest of the article because I don't do that sort of thing.
He's a mama's boy who lives in the basement of his mother at her house.
That's confirmed?
It's confirmed. He's got a little douchebag one-day stubble.
Yeah, he does have a hipster stubble.
It's not a hipster stubble. It's when George Michael was popular, the stubble was kind of cool.
He looks Middle Eastern, so that could be like a 6-hour stubble on him, not necessarily in one day. He looks very hirsute.
Well, the name sounds Indian, like from India.
Looking at his picture on lariatnews.com. I've seen the same picture on other places.
And his position has been that men have lost their masculinity. And
that's true. I agree with him there.
And they should beat the shit out of women and boss them around and take advantage of them because we're physically stronger.
I agree with him on that. No, I'm just kidding. That's way off.
Do you
Obviously,
still agree,
I do
Dave?
not agree. No.
Dave, have you stopped beating your wife yet?
But there's a note here. It says, opinion, pro-rape group plans meeting at Irvine Spectrum. This was on February 8th. I think this might have been the one where did they already cancel because they weren't sure about security? They thought they were getting a lot of flack, obviously, from people. But I thought, how great would it be, Sable?
I think many of their events around the country have been canceled, but this one is still going.
I think we should host one in this very room, Sable, in our studio.
I don't know about on the YouTube audience. We might get...
It won't be right.
They might shit can us for the shit.
I want to host it. I want to bring the guys in here. There's how many? You got one door here, right?
Just one.
You got one way in, one way out. Mm-hmm. We have them come in. Then we get like a couple of gay rugby teams, some big burly men, and we say, the guys in there love rape. Get the fuck on it. Get on it. No, don't hold back. They love rape.
They want you
lock
to be,
the doors.
They want you to be masculine.
No lube, and we'll listen to their screams of joy as they get penetrated by these burly European men.
Would that be the bear? Is that what it's called? A bear?
Bear, yeah. Bears are like, gay guys who kind of don't look like gay guys. They look like, well, I look pretty gay, but they look like maybe you with the beard and your burliness.
I'm not sure where you're going with that, Dave. I'm not sure I like this.
I'm not either. You know my improv is horrible. But you think that would be funny? Really? Now, come on.
I think it should be at the Irvine Spectrum.
Is that rape okay, though? Like, would you care, really, if you heard that they got raped, all of them? How would you fucking fall down laughing if you heard that all these guys got gang raped inside of a movie theater at the Irvine Spectrum?
Yeah, I would probably fall down laughing.
Thank you very much. Sometimes rape is okay. And even fun.
And even fun.
So I think these guys should definitely be completely gang raped by many, many burly big men. Mm-hmm. Who's with me? Growly Bear?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Growly Bear could be gay. Bear. He's got bear. Maybe he's a Growly Bear.
Yeah, but so does Smokey the Bear.
Yeah.
Don't tell me Smokey the Bear was gay.
And I have nothing against gay people at all. I'm pro whatever.
It's not that it would be wrong for Smokey the Bear to be gay. It's that growing up, I saw Smokey the Bear as the person that said, don't. Like only
well, the gay version is Pole Smokey
only
the Bear.
You can prevent forest fires.
Yeah.
Right? Remember that guy?
Yeah.
Yeah. So growing up with that, I'd be so shocked.
I just said the gay version would be Pole Smokey the Bear, but I think it got stepped on, and now I'm repeating the joke. Now. Hopefully someone heard it. Anyway.
Wait, I got something
just
for you.
Just to be clear, I'm not that kind of bear. We got Growly Bear said, just to be clear, I'm not that kind of bear. So
okay.
So he's straight. He's a straight bear.
Do not send pictures. Now, Dave, I noticed that you didn't mention anything about my dog sitting right next to us and his stinky fart.
He's relatively fart-free tonight.
No, I was very quiet, holding my breath for a while.
I didn't smell anything.
Oh, good. Because
I kept farting in his face this time, which was good.
That's what happened last time.
You got all the drops ready. Here, let me another random drop.
Okay. Maybe just one more. This was from a show, and I don't know how this came out of my mouth, but I like butt cream.
I want to put out a whole album of just drops.
It's a little too close to this topic for my taste. So, randomly, at a place I was at, speaking with adults, not children, we were talking about somehow Downton Abbey came up.
Yay, I love Downton Abbey.
And I've never watched it. I've never been interested in it. It seemed like a very hipster, pretentious thing, at least when it was out and popular. Mm-hmm. It was like everybody was watching the Portland show.
Portlandia?
Like, I'm not going to watch the hipster show.
That's true. It is very hipster show.
But this lady was telling me, and she was relating something in real life to an event in Downton Abbey. She said there was a butler who had a social position that was very high. He was like the number one servant of all the men. And he managed to arrange a marriage after a long courtship with the head maid, the number one maid, and he was writing love letters.
You're talking about Mr. Carson and Mrs. Hughes, and it's bringing a tear to my one good eye right now.
I don't actually know who the people are, but I'm telling you the story about Downton Abbey.
Yeah, good. Keep going.
As it was relayed to me. So he held her on a pedestal. He wrote her love notes. He treated her like a princess. They get married and they live together. Mm-hmm. And then apparently slowly, once he accomplishes his goal, he gets married to her. The cooking isn't as good, and he's trying to get her some cooking lessons. And the beds aren't made properly, so he brings the other maids in to show her how to make the beds just right.
He's bringing his work home a little bit, but yeah.
And it was, the conversation was, the courting period is so different than the actual relationship.
Yeah, although Mr. Carson, he didn't do him a lot of courting. It's sort of, I don't know. It was very awkward. Like British, you ever see the movie, was it The Remains of the Day? Anthony Hopkins and Emma, what's her name? Let me look that one up. Remains of the Day. Is that a Merchant Ivory film with Anthony Hopkins and Yeah, I'm pulling it up now. This is good pod. I know. Yeah, it is Emma. What's her name? Emma. Emma Thompson.
Emma Thompson
used to be married to Kenneth Branagh.
Okay.
It's a very stuffy, like, we want them to be together, but both of them are too proper to even say that they like the other person or even show any sort of emotion. That's kind of like what their courtship was almost like. So it wasn't like he was writing poems and things like that. So she might have exaggerated a little bit on that count.
She might have to make the point to me.
But her general point, I think, is it's good. But that's I'm sure they're going to work it out.
Now
we're coming up in the last season. It is the last season. They're going to work it out.
Now, can I tell you what the story was related to me for? So the story was related as that story with the butler. What's his name?
Mr. Carson.
Mr. Carson, and what's the woman's name?
Mrs. Hughes. Now Mrs. Carson.
So Mr. and Mrs. Carson and their relationship was related to me as a story about courtship versus reality, as part of the conversation about pole dancing. Because the movement of pole dancing, at least in the United States, is a fitness craze to empower women to embrace their sexuality. And I personally think 100% women that want to pole dance, have at it. I'll help you buy a pole. You can practice at my house. Like, I'm all in.
Yeah.
Like fit women, unfit women, small women, large, any woman that wants to do.
Make sure you install the pole, maybe not a load-bearing member, if they're going to be a not so fit girl.
I just want to express that any woman that wants to get into pole dancing has my support and probably the support of every man alive.
Now, if I have a pole at my place, consider that a safe space for you millennial gals.
Right. So women are really pushing, like they're taking and this is where the conversation got interesting. They're taking the traditional view of the exotic dancer, we call them strippers here, as a sort of a servant who's objectified and treated like crap, and they're taking that and embracing their sexuality. So that's the long courtship process. So this is where the analogy came in. Mm-hmm. So women, they go out and they do their pole dancing, they get into that, they become good, they start to make money at a place where pole dancing pays money.
Yeah.
A strip club is what we call them. Mm-hmm. And then they get caught into this lifestyle that they may not be able to get out of once they get embraced in the heavy cash flow, private parties, possible illicit activities or drug use or...
Well, if we're lucky, yeah. That's what the guys are there for. They're looking.
Right?
They're hoping that the pole dancing and the open tipping and stuff is a gateway to the illicit sexual activity.
Right.
That's what we're hoping
but
for.
Women don't know that.
I know, they're so
They
dumb.
go in thinking
they think they just want to watch me dance from a distance.
They think, I'm going to dance and show you my butt, and you're going to throw me money.
Yeah.
Make it rain, Dave. Make it rain.
Mm-hmm. Come on, it never rains in Southern California, baby.
So while I fully support pole dancing, this lady who is very like pro empowering women and has a whole career of actually supporting young girls and helping them grow and get through college. She runs a program that has been very successful over the last 13, 14 years since she started. But when it comes to pole dancing, she's like, you know what? I don't think it's a good idea. Women should not be pole dancing.
Women they're so cute and naive, though. They really think if we ask you out for dinner, we really just want to eat dinner and talk to you.
Yeah.
Now, no, they think that's we're paying for dinner. We obviously want to ejaculate into your vagina or near it. You know, just outside of it, that's pretty good too.
Or anywhere, really.
Anywhere in their vicinity would be good.
Even in the car.
Yeah, the car. You know, that's fine. But they're so cute because they don't seem to know that. Or it's like, why don't you understand this? We may like you too, but we still want to ejaculate on you, even if we don't like you. That's their thing. That's their thing to figure out. It's like, do we actually like you? You know, for us, it's like, does she like me or does she like the receipt from my ATM that she saw? It's like $75,000 checking balance. She'll probably likes that, but does she really like me? And they have to wonder, does he like me or just want to come on my tits and then not call me?
Dave, if you showed any woman, married or single, a $75,000 checking balance, she would probably be impressed and go out to dinner with you.
Yeah, might even get some sex, possibly.
Mm-hmm.
They,
or at least a little reach
women,
around, maybe.
I tell women the only reason, like the single women, like the only reason you're not having sex right now is because we assume you'll just say no. That's why we don't bother asking you. Like I don't like if I go to Ralph's at the checkout line and the girl's cute. The only reason I don't ask her to have sex is because I assume she's going to say no. If I knew she would say yes, I would just if she would say yes, why would she?
Break, baby?
No one would have a job if that were the case. Women are the key to societal betterment. If they were like us, no one would work or do anything. We would just all be home humping, and we'd all have diseases, and we'd all die. So, girls, you hold the key. And Chirac is a perfectly good example of that. If you did, I've said this before on the show too, is the girls in the inner cities with the gangs, stop rewarding these guys with sex, and they will stop doing that.
Yep.
If you suddenly only have sex with guys who are getting their degree getting their AA degree at the local community college, the places will be flooded with dudes getting their degrees. Yep. If you're only having sex with them, use that vagina for good instead of evil.
Use your vagina for good.
We're gone. Like I would like to say that men would we're kind of half the problem, but really we're 100% of the problem because we're the ones that are causing all of the mayhem and suffering in the world. But you could stop it with your vagina.
Wow,
you could. You really could.
You put a lot of power in the vagina, Dave.
It's true. I mean, in the countries where they just rape you, like some of the Muslim countries, that doesn't work so well. But the more enlightened countries in Europe and in the West here and in the United States, you have a lot more power than we do. Honestly,
can we talk about something other than rape for a minute? I know it's unusual
Wait a minute,
for us.
Let me say goodbye to rape in my own way. All right. I've said goodbye to it. You know what? You talk about Downton Abbey too. I have a little button on Downton Abbey. Sure. I want to say there's a character in Downton Abbey, just happens to be gay, but that doesn't have anything to do with it. But he is a huge douchebag.
Okay,
like asshole character. His name's Thomas, and he's been in the show throughout the entire run of it. He's a dick. He's trying to get people in trouble. He's almost tried to get people killed. Even and he's trying to get them thrown in jail. He's a terrible person, and they're actually now I think they're setting up like he's gonna off himself. That's what I'm thinking. But he's trying to be nicer now, and he's even like the last episode he was sobbing because he had a run-in with Mr. Carson, who never gives him he remembers all the shit the guy pulled, and everyone's like, oh, go easy on him. He's like, no, I'm sorry. And it's like, is my word's not good enough, Mr. Carson? He's like, I'm afraid not. It's like, yes. And I don't care how much this guy cries. I remember all the shit he did, and I say, good for you. Go cry in your fucking milk, you jerk. So, but one of the reasons is because he's never asked anyone's forgiveness, as far as I recall. Mm-hmm. He's never actually came to the people and said, you know what?
Clearly not Jewish.
I've been a douchebag, and I am sorry. I shouldn't have done these horrible things. I hope you can forgive me. Fine. He's never done that. He's just been a dick, and now he's just trying to be like, oh, everybody hates me. Yeah, because you're a dick.
See, if he was Jewish, he'd have to go around every year like I do.
Yeah.
And go to all the people and say, you know, Dave, I was kind of a real asshole to you this year, and I'm sorry. And there's a holiday.
I didn't get my yearly apology.
There's a holiday called Excuse Me, and I have to it's my job.
Which one is that?
Slichot.
I don't remember you coming up to me.
It's called the
and
I'm sorry holiday.
Forgiveness. Did you? I don't remember.
I probably texted it.
By the way, I'm so easygoing though. You'd have to refresh my memory on what you insulted me on because I already forgot. So it's good on my part.
That's because you're not a woman.
It's good for my stress level, I think, because I usually forget that shit. I know I'm not
that was a conversation that may have to remain off pod.
Yeah.
I do want to mention, because I talked about a Neal Stephenson book I was reading last week. Well, I started rereading Anathem. Now, you might not have noticed.
This is not Anthem, the Ayn Rand book, by the way. It's very similarly spelled.
Anathem.
It's got an extra syllable in there.
And you might not have noticed the book. You might have thought it was actually a dresser or a bookcase all into itself, because it's a 900-page hardback book that I got for a present when it launched. I think it was, again, my mother-in-law. I think she bought me this book. We went to the Barnes & Noble at the one time, the one kid. She was like, oh, what book do you want? And this had just come out. And I remember carrying this giant, huge 5-inch paper, like a hardbound book, to work, to try and read at lunch, to try and read at bed at night. And then a couple months later, I got my first Kindle, and I never finished the book. But I thought I had finished the book.
Yeah.
I forgot that I just stopped halfway through. So I pick up Anathem to go, because I'm rereading in 2016. I'm going to reread a bunch of my favorite books, like Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. I'm going to reread Cryptonomicon.
Put Dune on that list and then tell me how good it was again.
Dune.
Dune is a great book. Have you read Dune?
Just 2 years ago.
Okay, well then you don't need to read it again yet. But I love Dune.
And it was...
Never made a good movie or TV show of it yet, but it deserves to be tried again. Someone should try it again.
As a teenager, I didn't get it at all, and I thought it was long and boring.
Ugh.
But when I reread it a couple years ago, I was like, this is incredible. Oh, my God.
It is a great book. Bradley Bear, do you like Dune?
Oh.
I bet he knows Dune.
Yeah. He likes Remains of the Day. That's a good movie.
Yeah, it is.
So anyways, I'm updating you that now that I'm carrying this stupid book back and forth to work again, and it's breaking my back, I'm almost considering buying the Kindle version just so I can read it easier and not have to carry the hardback.
Why not? Who cares? Don't be a paper snob, Just put on the Kindle. By the way, the Gary Jennings novel Aztec, which is now my favorite book, phenomenal, is now available on Kindle. I've seen it on my Kindle. I saw it. So great book, and someday I hope to get the rights to it and develop it as a show. Oh, but anyway,
really?
Someday I might.
Okay.
I might try if this thing goes down and we get anything going on it. I'm going to start trying that, because it was supposed to happen a few years ago. Nicholas Meyer was going to direct a movie of Aztec, but it all fizzled out. I don't know what happened. I don't know who owns it. I'm going to look into this. If anybody knows, by the way, who owns the rights to Aztec, let me know. I'm going to call them.
Okay. Well, speaking of rights, I went to... There was one character, I couldn't really picture her. The protagonist sort of got involved with this girl, and I thought she might have been weird looking or ugly based on the descriptions earlier in the book, but it turns out she wasn't. She was pretty attractive, and then he got together with her briefly. So I went to go look up, I wonder if anybody had done a sketch. And I found out that there was a picture of an actress.
Fan art of her.
Yeah, right? Maybe I'm missing the whole point of how she was described. But I found out that there was a picture of an actress as they were possibly going to do a film.
Oh, good. I love these stories.
Who was it? I don't know.
You don't know who it was?
It was just a picture of a super hot actress with a short haircut. And I don't usually like short haircuts, because when you see a woman with kids who's cut her hair short, it means her sexuality is gone.
Usually they gave up. Yeah,
she's completely given up on herself and her life. And I go, that's it. You can't even talk to that woman. She's just taking care of her kids. She has nothing else going on.
Pleated soccer mom jeans, short hair, done.
This
vagina is closed for business.
I avoid those people usually.
I'm trying to think.
But this was a young girl with short hair that was pretty cute.
I'm trying to think of super sexy actresses that had short hair. None are coming to mind, actually. Which is, but when I'm buzzed, I'm the worst film trivia person. You know that.
I know. I will never forget the day I beat you at movie trivia.
You beat me at Star Wars trivia. That's my rice bowl.
Both very lucky days for me, let me tell you.
But in my defense, I got to the center way before you and sat there and could not land on it until you came right in and landed on it and answered your question.
That was some good pod right there. That was good.
That was great pod.
What do you think, Dave? Should we wrap it up before
Bradley
we go?
Bear said something about Dune needs at least 2 or 3 rereads. Yeah.
I agree. That should go on my reread list. I completely agree with that. And
he also rightly assesses that once Frank Herbert's son started taking over the series, it wasn't as good.
Yeah.
I recommend the first 4 books for sure. Through God Emperor of Dune, very good.
And I mentioned before, I listened to the audiobooks of Star Wars, and they were fantastic. 4 and 5 with extra detail, and as many times as I've seen the movie, it was so good. Anyways, I'm doing some reading. I like reading a lot, but anyways, let's wrap it up.
Yeah, we've delighted our listeners enough. Let's wrap it up.
So
let's save my remind me to bring my White Christmas story in.
White Christmas,
even though it's stale from not. Maybe I should wait for this Christmas, but because I'm sure it'll come up again. No, screw it. I'll forget to do it. And also, my incarceration gap, because Hillary and Bernie keep bringing this shit up, and I need to talk about it. Anyway, all right.
Incarceration gap. Okay. Well, for those of you that have made it this far in the show, I really appreciate it. I appreciate you joining us in the chat room.
Thanks, Growly Bear.
I decided that I think I just left my phone in the other room, so I missed any Twitter messages that you may have sent me. I missed all your text messages. I apologize in advance, but at least we've got the right sound. So if you want to call in and give us your thoughts and opinions.
657-206-0777.
That's the number to give us a call at. You can subscribe to the Indispensable Thursday Show on iTunes or anywhere that fine podcasts are served. Stop by theindispensable.show.com. Click on the Amazon button. Buy yourself a little something for Valentine's Day, maybe an Amazon Echo or a $39 tablet.
Or some perfume, Growly Bear, if they'll ship it to Europe.
Some perfume. Yeah, why not?
I mean.
Dave, you left the chat room before the show was over.
Oh, I thought I didn't. Oh, I used the wrong tab. No, I used the wrong tab.
It's okay. I'm just teasing a little bit. And I have one more. If you do want to call in, I'm going to play this one more time just because it's good. It's funny.
Let him who hath understanding reckon the number of the podcast, for it is a Google number. Its number is 657-206-0777.
All right. Thanks, Dave. Bye.
Bye.